Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Vano by, I know I will mispronounce this, and I do apologize. I'm going to guess Hanneke Sieben. From the Netherlands, and the story goes, and this is I of course got this from tanglepatterns.com. This was inspired by a tail light on a van, and it's a cute story. So and it's a really cute tangle, by the way. All right, so this starts off with an orb just somewhere, and and I on my step out I drew it kind of center, but I'm going to draw this one maybe just a little bit off center because that's kind of nice. So just an orb is how we start, and then we're gonna make a big aura on these. So normally an aura, right, is just we're tracing around, but we're gonna aura this orb. You can pick whatever distance you want. This is the distance that I'm gonna pick here. And then, basically in the space that you have in your tangle, continue to aura it around. And you can always make it, well, those look pretty even, actually. I know we kind of sometimes like to play with, as something goes out to make it wider. And that would be that. All right, so once you have all of your circles in your space, then we're going to go basically sort of diagonal. Let me start here. So from the orb, not inside the orb, from just that outside line of that orb, just a diagonal line. And honestly, I bet you could make it, just crosswise. It doesn't really matter. This just gets you started, because then we're going to cross again. It just depends on how you're holding your tile. So we're kind of doing, north, south, east, west, however you want to think about it. And then we're going to subdivide. Just think, well, no, I'm going to subdivide it. As I was playing, I was like, if I do this too small, but we're going to subdivide this into, usually I like to do one and then subdivide. And generally it's because I usually have a problem not, like adding two lines in there. It's really easy to go, oh, I'm going to add one and then I'm going to subdivide those. That makes it super easy. But I challenged myself and decided I'm going to do this, and however it turns out, it turns out. And that's the spirit of Zentangle. All right. So again, each big section, we're putting two lines. Actually, I want to have that continue. Like so. Okay? Now, this is the next step is basically rinse and repeat all over again with this next step. And well, I'm going to start, let's see, I'm going to start here at the top. And we're going to put two curved lines in going from the orb. So going from this, say this corner, taking a section at a time, from this corner to the bottom, and this corner to the bottom. Now, the reason I was rethinking about this was because I'm like, oh, I know it's going to be really small, and that makes it kind of tight to fit in something like this. But, let me take that back. It could be, I think a little curved is nice. That one was a little bit straight. But do what you can so that way you can kind of have a little bit of a curve. And even if, you just have an opening up there, that's fine. But aiming towards this middle here certainly helps. Now, I tell you, one thing that that I did try to do, and you can try this if you have a challenge with doing a curved line, from this corner to the middle here, is I tried going from the middle up to the corner, and for me, it didn't work. But I offer that up as a suggestion if you're having trouble with this. Just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean that something like that wouldn't work for you. But I think just where it's small, you just have to be careful. And so we will, well, if you've already looked at the step out, then And if you looked at the picture on the front, then So that we're going to end up coloring these little, the inside of what we're drawing in. So if you happen to do something that's you don't like so well, knowing that you kind of have a little bit of a course correction when it comes to, you know, the filling in part. Now this one does seem to look nicest, and I believe in her, in the examples that were on Tangle Planners, and I'll make sure to put a link in the comment section. It seemed like they were more like this, they had more of a straight line towards the end than this, that was a V to the end. That's something that, you know, you can look at, you can play with. That can be your own, you know, take on it, whichever way you like, because I know I have sometimes scooting my tangle all the way over here, or my tile. There are some tangles that I just have ended up doing a certain way because I like it, and that's just, you know, it's part of it, and it's okay. The only thing that I kind of, you know, well, that, and maybe it's just because it's me, the only thing that I kind of frown in my head is when someone will take a tangle just a little bit too outside of what, you know, what it was designed as. It just makes it something completely different. And then it's like, well, that's okay. I would just call it something different rather than calling it a name of a tangle, and it really doesn't look like what the original step outs were. But that's just me. It's almost like, is it fusion jazz or something like that, where I listen, I'm like, where, I'm not hearing what the tune is. So it's like, okay. Now I have just this little teeny edge here, so I am making my curves, and I will, you know, fill in that little bit because I do believe it counts. And this is why I share the why on things, because just because I say something, I mean, that's just me. We are all different beings, and as it should be. And I like us to embrace our uniqueness. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start filling these in. But we embrace our uniqueness, and, you know, that's what makes the world go round and stuff like that. All right, so we are filling in all of these little sections. And like I said, this is the best opportunity. If, you know, you didn't like something, you can kind of reshape it a little bit. And the only issue with that is, you know, you can only go outwards. So if it's reshaping someone and you have room to, yeah, like I said, to go out, then that is the best opportunity for that little course correction. You know, if you just can't go the other way, unfortunately. It's like this, well, that's a little too thick. Well, I can't do anything about that. So then we just go, okay, live with it. We'll see what it looks like when we get done, when we do some shading. And there is an additional step, but I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit pause, so that way I can come, so that way you're not being tortured with doing all this. And then, you know what, you can hit pause as well if you are tangling along with me, and then well, at least for you on the video, it'll be just a moment, and I will be right back with all of these little pieces colored in. And see, like right here, I want to have a little bit more slope on that one. All right, so we'll see you in a minute, and all of these will be magically done. So hold on for a moment. All right, so now I have a filled in tile, and this is actually where she ends the step out. So the decoration part is up to you. You could leave it like this, you can add some shading, or you can go a little further and do some decorating. And so here's what I'm going to do. I want to add some color to this. So I'm using, let's see, what have I got here? I've got a an 01 orange and an 05 yellow. And just because this kind of looks like a sun to me, this is what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to start out here on the outer edge. Well, or maybe right here. And yes. All right, so I'm just going to draw some straight lines. Now, I did do this. I have this on the example in black. So you could color in these sections, or you could just do like this, a series of straight lines. And it just occurred to me, I could have done these straight lines. I'm going to put yellow on the other side, but, well, so here's something that you could do, is, I decided to do just the two colors. A lot of times, actually, you know what, taking that back, I'm just going to do the one for now and see what it looks like. And while I do that, and I might even hit pause again, we'll see, but some ideas. So like I said, you could color in both sections, like different colors if you want. Or this, so I'm auraing this line. And then, oh yeah, I gotta get up here too. And what's neat, especially if you do it in black and white, so I was kind of hesitating on this part, because if you do it in black and white, then that line kind of disappears, and it looks really neat. And I'll show you in a moment what that looks like. But you could have a lot of fun with this. So depending on how big, so like I said, I was just thinking, because this looks like a sun, and so I thought, well, I'll get yellow and orange, and that will be neat. And then as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, oh, I could have done each ring a different color, and that would be neat too. So like if you have a nice set of markers or anything, and that could be rather neat. Okay. And like I said, and we're just doing, and staying consistent. So looking at that thin line, so that was, the when we drew out those lines initially, and just being consistent with the side that I'm working on. So for this one, I'm just doing the lines, on the right side of those. All right, so as I paused to finish the orange line, do you know what I'm looking at? Let me change the color on my light here. I thought I would change it up a little bit. Oh, look at that. And I thought, well, that blue just looks so stark sometimes, but man, look at that. Look at how that color popped. All right, well, awesome. So, I decided to fill in with, also with the yellow micron, and I did it pretty solid, and then let it dry for just a few minutes. And then I come back, I'm looking, I'm like, I have to do something. With that center. So, I'm not sure what yet, but we have to do something with that center. And so, actually, I know what we'll do. All right, we're going to shade. We'll make, because I was thinking, I could do something with color or not, or whatever. But I think we'll make this kind of like a dewdrop. So just in just with the graphite. Now a lot of times I use this woodless graphite pencil. But what I noticed with this, and it's probably because it's woodless, that it seems like the lead is not as soft as like the number 2 pencil. So I just have some of these golf pencils laying around, and because I save my Zentangle, my little mini Zentangle pencils for special classes, and and for kits. All right, so I'm shading on the inside of this circle. I'm going to do the inside of this one also. And I'm, because I know that this spreads quite well, I'm trying not to go too heavy yet, because I want to see what it looks like. I'm also working on this small tile. And it's like we don't want it all gray. That wasn't my objective there at all. So hence why I'm not going super dark yet, but we can always add stuff. And let's see. And one nice thing about shading too, because I mentioned when we were doing the filling in, that's a great opportunity for course corrections. But also, when we're doing shading. That is also a great course correction. All right, this is looking like it's getting smushed in here, but all right, so I'm going to lightly go. Now, if you are using Zentangle tiles, or because Zentangle tiles are like a watercolor paper, but because they are they're cold pressed and they're die cut, that makes them not as they call it toothy, so the texture isn't as great as like on watercolor paper, but because it's a cotton paper, we do have to watch. Sometimes that's why I let it dry just a little bit, because and then I'm also just being careful here with my tortillon, because sometimes you can just take up like little bits of paper and stuff, and I don't like it when that happens. All right, so I'm just going in little circles, going all the way around once. Oh, that created some dimension. Now, let's see here. So what if I go a little bit darker? Because what is neat is I like playing with the idea of the shadow box effect. So if you picture a shadow box and having, you know, each layer like it's stacked. Whoops! As I bumped the camera, so sorry. You know, so that way it looks like we're creating this depth, and I think that's so fun. It's so fun to do, and I am just continually fascinated, being the non-artist, that, you know, through practicing Zentangle and having fun with it, and going, you know, getting certified to teach it, of course. Just the things that I can do that. Oh my gosh. And continually just amazed. I look at things from when I was first introduced to this, and I look and I think, did I really do that? And it's the beauty of this, and it's just so neat. All right, let's see how this is. Oh, even more. Oh, see, now I'm looking in the camera and I'm like, now I'm seeing that depth, like layers, like as if, you know, I cut these out and with foam tape made layers. You can't see my hand. I'm doing like this. That's what I'm doing. Okay, now for the center, I'm just going to put a little bit of, actually, I'm going to go a little bit dark on that, actually. Taking that back. And I want to leave some, oh, actually, just some, but not all. And let us see. Okay, and I do have a white jelly roll, and I didn't prime it. Oh, let's try this. All right, I think it's working. All right, and so what I'm going to do, now, one of the things with Zentangle is, when we're shading, we're just looking for that pop. We're not looking for much else. We're not necessarily doing the light source idea. And I don't know if that's even showing up there. A lot of times you have to wait for it to dry a little bit. And I'm just putting a dab of white in there. And you can kind of see. Actually, well, I'm going to leave that the way. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Sometimes putting the white where it's darkest, I notice, seems to help. But I've been fascinated. You know, as I'm looking at what other people do, and sometimes they're just putting a big dot, and it looks so neat. So, try to make that dry quicker. Patience, right? So there we have it. You can kind of see it, and it just looks really, really neat. Oh my goodness. I am thrilled. Now, if you did it bigger, because as I'm looking, and I'm not going to do this on this one, but something that is striking me right now, and I'm very tempted to do, is you could, you know, shade on all of these, I don't know if that would wreck it or not. I'm liking it the way it is, and so we're going to stick with that. I think I'm just seeing reflection here. because I thought I was seeing a gap, but that is just fascinating. So here's another one that I did this on a bigger scale. So this is the 3.5 inch regular traditional tile, and so I did the same thing, but this time this one I put a little line of the white jelly roll in there, but kind of same idea. But this one I just did these straight lines, and left the other ones just blank, just the regular tile color. So anyway, with that, there's a couple ideas for you. Hope you enjoyed this tangle, and if you did, appreciate thumbs up. Feel free to leave any comments in the comment section, and as I mentioned earlier in the description, I will put the step outs and a link to this in Tangle Patterns and anything else. Well, that's the only other place that I think I've seen this. So just absolutely fantastic tangle. And let's see what else. I think that's it, except for to say happy tangling.